Having a home wall is a great way to stay in shape and to train yourself as a climber. It's a lot of fun being able to just step outside of my door and climb. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the process that me and my dad built the wall in our backyard with. From our basic concept drawings to the final thing, as well as all of our steps in between. I hope you enjoy it. As a board climber stuck in the house for an unforeseen amount of time, I did what I thought at the time was the logical thing to do. I built myself a wall in my backyard. The basic design for the wall is quite simple. It's an 8-foot wide wall going up 10 feet, and it has a 16-inch kicker at the bottom. I built my wall to be adjustable with hinges, but currently it's set at about 30 degrees. The frame is using solely 2x6s, a vertical and 2 horizontal, or the other one, and it's the same on both sides. It's been really nice to have this wall in my backyard during this quarantine that we're stuck in, and I want to help everyone watching this who has the same idea achieve their goal. My father and I's first step was to purchase our wood and cut it to the size we needed. All of the wood we used was 2x6. We started with 6 8-foot pieces, 10 10-foot pieces, and 2 12-foot pieces, as well as 3 3/4-inch pieces of plywood that were 4 feet by 8 feet. Our final cut list can be found in a link in the description, but it all was able to come out of those pieces of wood. If you're building your wall indoors, this is not a step you have to worry about too much, but outdoors, your wall should be sealed and stained. It's an important step to help protect the wood used from rain and other weathers that could damage it. Since my wall was outdoors, we purchased our seal and stain at our local hardware store. As I mentioned before, our wall has 2 basic parts, a 16-inch by 8-foot kicker board and a 10-foot by 8-foot pitched wall. Both have a similar structure of vertical supports every 16 inches. We have a bolt hole every 6 inches, both vertical and horizontally apart, starting 3 inches from the edge on all sides. That is 352 holes if your wall is 8 foot by 10 foot and you do 2 on the kicker board. Using that layout, we then marked out all of our hole placement with a chalk strip, and then I drilled the holes. We stacked the 2 4x8 pieces of plywood just to make the process a little bit easier. But if your drill is unable to handle that, you could do them one at a time. We then attached the bottom piece of plywood and the plywood for the kicker to the frames that we had made earlier. We did this in order to attach the hinges that connect the 2 frames together, and we had to have the plywood there to be accurate with our placements. Here we attached the side frames to both sides and the vertical supports, and we stood the wall up for the first time. We did this before attaching the other pieces of plywood because we didn't want to add any extra weight. I then went back to the pieces of plywood that I hadn't attached to the wall yet, and I hammered in all of the T-nuts. There are a bunch of different types of T-nuts to use, but I believe we used 3/8 inch 4-pronged T-nuts that were pretty low quality. After we put the T-nuts into both pieces of plywood that weren't on the wall yet, we attached them to the wall. We put a screw into each corner first, and then put a screw every few inches on each vertical support. There's no real wrong way to do this, but you want to make sure you have enough to make it load bearing. For the higher one, we used 2 kickers to help guide the plywood and hold it while we attached it with screws. Again, we did the 4 corners first, and then went across, putting in a screw every few inches on each of the vertical panels. That's how I built my wall. The next step as a climber is to start setting. I ordered my holds from Atomic Climbing, as well as I talked to some climbers I know about borrowing some of their holds. If you're able to get some holds from your local gym, I would highly recommend it, because it's quite tricky to get holds during this quarantine, and they're quite expensive in general. All in all, I would say this was quite a successful project for me. It was my first major construction project ever. As well, it was a project I had been thinking about for a while without ever starting. I would highly recommend building a climbing wall of your own, due to the fact that it's a great training tool and really nice to have. If you followed the steps shown in this video, I think that you could make a wall that you're just as happy with as I was with this one. I just realized I never got the chance to thank my dad for helping me put this plan into action, as well as the YouTuber Climber Dad for inspiring me with his plans. If you want to find his channel and his video, the links will be in the description, along with my materials list and cut list for the wood, and the full in-depth plans used to build the wall that I built. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.